Trust doesn't break the moment someone lies to you. It breaks the moment you start watching them. That's it. That's the whole shift. 1 second, you're just living your life together. The next second, you're a detective, and nobody tells you when that switch flips. It just flips. You know the feeling. Someone you love says something, does something, and suddenly your brain starts doing math it never did before. Where were you really? Why did you pause before answering? Why does that story sound slightly different than last time? You didn't choose to become this person. You used to just believe them. Now you're cross-referencing. And the strange part is, even after the apology, even after the "I'm sorry, it won't happen again," even after you say it's fine, something in you doesn't relax. You nod. You move forward. But some part of your nervous system stays on alert, like a smoke detector that already smelled smoke once and now beeps at steam. You're not broken for feeling that. You're just running exactly the way you're supposed to. Here's what nobody explains to you. Trust was never really about honesty. Trust is about prediction. Your brain trusts someone when it can predict them, when their words and their actions line up so consistently that you stop having to think about it. That's what trust actually feels like. Not warmth, not certainty, just not having to check. So when someone betrays that, lies, breaks a promise, hides something, it's not just the event that hurts. It's that your prediction model just failed. The version of this person you had running in your head turned out to be wrong, and your brain, without asking your permission, throws that whole model out. Now it has to rebuild it from scratch. Watching, testing, recollecting data. That's why "I'm sorry" doesn't fix it right away. An apology is one data point. Your nervous system doesn't update on one data point. It updates on patterns. It needs repetition before it believes anything again. This is why people say, "I forgave them, but I still don't trust them," like it's a contradiction. It's not a contradiction. Forgiveness is a decision. Trust is a measurement. You can make a decision instantly. A measurement takes time, whether you want it to or not. Here's the part that changes how you see the whole thing. The person who broke trust is usually in a hurry to have it back, and the person who lost it is usually terrified of giving it back too soon. Both of these reactions make sense, and both of them can quietly sabotage the whole repair. The one who broke trust wants relief. They want the tension gone, the guilt gone, the discomfort of being watched gone, so they push. Can we just move past this? Why do you still bring it up? I said I was sorry. What feels like closure to them feels like pressure to the other person. Pressure to fake a level of safety that hasn't actually rebuilt yet. And the one who got hurt wants protection. So they hold on to the hurt a little longer than necessary, sometimes without even noticing. Because as long as they're hurt, they feel like they still have some control, some leverage, some proof that this mattered. Neither side is lying. Neither side is the villain. They're just running two completely different repair speeds at the same time, and both of them think the other person is the one moving wrong. Real trust repair isn't an event. It's not the big conversation, the tears, the apology, the promise. Those are the opening, not the ending. Real repair is boring. It's small, repeated, unremarkable moments where the broken pattern doesn't happen again. It's 100 tiny non-events. The phone call that happens when they said it would. The story that stays the same the second time you ask. The thing they said they'd do, that they just did, quietly, without needing credit for it. Trust isn't rebuilt in the apology. It's rebuilt in the boring follow-through after the apology is already forgotten. And here's the part almost nobody says out loud. The person who was betrayed has to let the small proof count. If every kept promise is met with, "Well, you should have done that anyway." If nothing is ever allowed to count as progress, the nervous system never gets permission to stand down. It stays in detective mode forever, not because the other person keeps failing, but because no evidence is ever accepted. That's the twist. Sometimes the block to rebuilding trust isn't dishonesty anymore. It's that one side stopped being willing to notice honesty when it showed up again. So what does real repair look like, stripped of all the noise? It looks like consistency without demanding immediate belief. It looks like the hurt person allowing small proof to count, even while still being cautious. It looks like both people understanding this isn't a moment. It's a track record being rebuilt one ordinary day at a time. It looks like patience being the actual apology. Not the words said once, but the pattern shown 100 times after. You don't rebuild trust by convincing someone to believe you again. You rebuild it by giving their nervous system enough boring, repeated proof that it quietly stops checking. Trust was never rebuilt in the big moment. It's rebuilt in the ones nobody even notices.